we did So Desire now. Takes us just a couple of minutes to turn the computer on, and that's it. There's no problem, because that's our difference. So journalism is changing in, the old way. Journalism is dead as far as networks, the cable, that's gone. Those days, those people don't do journalism anymore. Current TV is not journalism. Current TV is ranting and raving. We rant and rave, but we also do lots of fun things too.
Well, but we also do, I mean, in the midst of, it's kind of like when you're watching the newscast, they talk about the news, and then they do like some filler stuff in between, like they joke. So part of it is so that you develop a rapport with the newscasters. Otherwise, they're just a talking head.
Well, I know is he's old. He's got white hair. No, my hair. I'm German. I'm blonde. And that they comment about her. Well, if I was as young as she is, I'd look good in a swimsuit also. And then the person is generally, some of them young enough to be her child, grown. So it's the difference. But we also, we get very serious. This is one of our serious times. And like I said, we'll do a review of something, and that review will go on. Our wrap-ups, for instance, of an event. Yeah. Our wrap-ups are done maybe in a fun manner, but they're also something that nobody else in the business does, because we give an extensive wrap-up of everything we do.
Well, and part of it, the idea is so that you understand from a different perspective, because even though we do little interview snippets, you know what I mean, interviews with the people, I mean, part of it is like when I do a wrap-up of a gifting suite, people are like, why do you do wrap-ups? Because a lot of people, it's like you hear about them, but what does it really feel like? What do they get to see? So people like to watch those.
Yeah, and then because they'll also, you know what the biggest criticism we get on our gifting suite things are when we do interviews, period, of, like an event we'll go to, and they'll say, well, you didn't pay the person enough respect. Didn't you understand what these people were doing? Well, no, we've never met them before.
Well, oftentimes we've never met them before, and we didn't know they were coming.
We don't know they're coming, and we don't know what the heck they do. So when you have to ask generic questions to find out who they are and just why they're famous. So when you're asking, when the questions seem dumb, they're actually designed to get us to where we know who we're talking to.
Well, and part of it is that the audience outside doesn't always know the person anyway. Yeah. So it's almost like always like a fresh perspective.
Right, you're introducing them to the people. I mean, we have hardcore people. I mean, God, we've got 500,000-600,000 hits on some people that basically have no career.
Well, there's some people that really have a following, and we really see this by the comments.
The comments, I know. I mean, we know, we have done things. I mean, the people at Stenheiser.
Sennheiser. Boy, do you have a following.
No, I mean, they got a following too. I mean, we have been
Metalocalypse, Brendan Small.
Yeah, but some of the people, well, didn't you know? Well, no, we didn't know. Because, like I said, we do not know who we're going to be interviewing when we do our interviews. None of them are set up in advance. We do not have preset interviews like they do on, this is what it is. They're used to seeing the network where everything is done.
Oh, you know what? Because, the network, they're all scripted. See, part of it is my interviews are unscripted.
Everything we do is unscripted.
So here's a challenge. You're going into an interview, you have no idea what the people are. You have no information. I mean, part of it is when we go to some events, we have a tip sheet. Yeah. But what happens is you get a tip sheet of all these people, and so you briefly look over it because, first of all, you may have 30 people on the tip sheet, but most of them, they don't show up, or if they do show up, they go around the back. If they're big, they go around the back and you never see them anyway. So
I mean, we did one, for instance, that in 2 hours, only 9 people came down the red carpet. 9, and the carpet was like 100 foot long, and 9 people. Yeah. And nobody knew who any of them were, except for they had an idea of 1 out of all of them. But this is it. When they criticize us, because shouldn't we have known? Well, we can't know.
Yeah, these are not set up interviews, kind of like you're used to seeing on television.
They're used to that. They're used to
60 minutes. Structured. It's all structured. We've got all the film
and it's all edited.
And editing.
We don't. What you see is what you actually get. It is totally live and for the most part totally unedited.
Well, part of it is because it's really unscripted and everything. So we're asking them questions based on what they're telling us. And so you get genuine responses. You're not getting rehearsed responses. Like when I asked Huey, I said, Huey,
yeah.
And your last name, and he's looking at me, giving me his eyes. Kind of like you don't know who I am. Or like when the eating people.
Oh,
Joey Chestnut and Kobayashi.
Oh yeah, she asked a simple question about eating a hot dog.
I said, can you pose like you're eating the hot dog?
And they both started to collapse because everybody around us and them had a different idea than what she had said.
Well, it was just because we wanted to take a picture, so it's like you just pose like.
Yeah. But I mean, and then too, because I mean, sometimes we do know. Some of the people that we do know. I mean, like Samuel L. Jackson is always good for material.
Yeah.
But Samuel L. Jackson doesn't do the red. He's listed, but he doesn't do it.
He's done the red carpet before, but he hasn't done any lately.
So, but
I mean, he'll do them probably at the really big events.
Yeah.
Because part of it is when you go to an event, it's like they've got everybody set up. Here's the photographers. Here's the broadcast, right?
And then here is the interview.
Internet. These are internet. This is radio. These are magazines.
And then you got the print people.
Yeah, and so by the time you go through all that,
I mean, it's very seldom that you can get anybody. I mean, we've got some major people that absolutely are really great and they like to talk to people. And then we've got little people that basically we tend to get the most off the little guys that want to talk. Mm-hmm. Because they're more than willing to spend, well, because they're like throw them,
they throw them out to the wolves.
Throw them out because they know that they can kill time. Like a tip off on a red carpet that no one's going to show is when you're like a half hour late.
Oh, when you're half an hour late, or the same. Actually, you're not getting new people, and then the girls keep walking by for photos.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Or the same people that you don't really know about keep going up and down for interviews for people.
Or they start serving the press food, basically to occupy their time. See, generally there's food and drinks for the personalities.
Yeah.
But when you're allowed into the food and press line, you know that you've got a disaster on your hands. But no, I mean, the last event we went to, we did not know any of the people that came down to us. And most of the people, okay, by that time, the people that are putting it on basically gave it up because they had a sheet like about, nobody showed. We've also done things, we've done for major PR companies that put together events that their people showed up because it was such, I mean, the PR was so great on it, they showed up and nobody that was on their list came. No one. Mm-hmm. And the people, like, they flew in all the way from New York City because clients wanted to meet these people. And they didn't come because...
Well, because the biggest challenge on a red carpet is just because they're on a tip sheet does not mean they're going to walk through the carpet, nor does it mean you have any chance to see them.
Right.
Or talk to them.
Okay, most of them, okay, a lot of them, a lot of them are really nice guys, but they don't want to talk to the people on camera. So, you'll sit there and they'll be like this as they're walking by, and that's it.
Yeah.
But like I said, we don't know who we're talking. We're going to talk to in the red carpet. She has no clue when she does a gifting suite who we're going to talk to, and unless it's a press conference itself.
For a specific person, for a specific reason.
We have no idea. We go to SEMA. We don't basically know unless it's a specific conference. Because if you go interview, we'll go interview somebody at, because we interviewed people about tires once. We didn't know we didn't know about the tires.
Oh, Cooper Tires.
We didn't know
Can
about
you believe that Cooper Tires got so many hits?
Yeah, but we didn't know the people there. We had an opportunity because they were available, so we talked to them, and we basically let them explain things.
Well, part of it is they were having the press conference, but they had this tire that was really pretty interesting. It's a honeycomb tire that they used for the military, and so basically it doesn't puncture.
It doesn't puncture. You
so
just shoot it.
That was pretty cool.
But we talked to them about about how it would work on the commercial. We tend to be prosumer with most of what we do, so we'll talk to people that, because most of them actually